Here's a quick video on how the mapping is going to work with the bridge. I'm going to use the TurboGrafx 16. It's got a neat little public domain application here by Chris that we can use. The main reason for the TurboGrafx 16 is it's one of the weirdest maps. As you may recall, the two buttons, the 1 and 2 button, are actually on the right side of the pack of 6 on the 6-button controller. So that messes up all conventional mapping ideas beyond fixing in most cases. So what this app does is it'll show you the extended buttons if you hold them down. Otherwise it thinks it's a 2-button pad. Well, nothing surprising there, a TurboGrafx 16 on a TurboGrafx 16 controller. But where the confusion really sets in is when you give yourself some other controller. I'll hook up a PlayStation. Okay, so the bridge out of the box is going to map this thing up in a way that's convenient if you think about it. The 3 buttons on the bottom are your 3 buttons on the bottom. So that one's this one, that one's this one, and then the very last one is that one. And then for the top buttons, you have your L and your R, which is the outer ones, and the triangle, which is the middle ones. This actually came from the Mr. Beta crew. They kind of found a convenient way to use a 4-button with L and R in place of a 6-button controller. Now, if you didn't like that, you can still go back to the old mapping, which, you know, if you do the L, the R, and you hold the up for 2.5 seconds, it'll map it back to the old way, which would be the left 2 buttons are your main 2, A and B, and then the L goes to the 3rd. Same with the top, the 2 buttons, and then the, I'm sorry, not the L, the R, the L, in this case, to the 3rd. That is a more conventional way of using the Bliss-Box, but a lot of people aren't gonna follow that too well. They're gonna think the button mapping is all confusing. So you can go back to that. The way that the bridge works is when you first plug in a controller, it's going to auto map it in a way that the general population, if you will, wants it mapped. And again, that's going to kind of map it in a way that your bottom row buttons are your bottom row buttons. If you swap out another controller, it's going to renegotiate and try to make the best mapping that it can for that controller. And you can always use the alternative mapping combo like I showed you to go in and out of different combos, which is pretty much going to be imperative for a lot of users that just are really picky. I get it. We all want a layout that makes sense. Here's N64, the 2 main buttons, and then the bottom row. They map up in that way. And again, you can exit out of this mode with the L, the R, and the up, and then these 2 will be your aim, or your 1 and 2 buttons. So it'll allow you to do either convention. And then the last one we can kind of show off here, which my connector is very finicky. Just used it so often, so it likes to pull out. But let's see if I can get it to work here. It's acting up, so I'm going to hold it in. And it decides it wants. There we go. Saturn, again, the 3 on the bottom and the 3 on the top. And that's probably going to make a lot of sense for Sega users for TurboGrafx 16. And the N64 is very similar to the GameCube. And there will be two more mappings that we'll have available should people decide they want to map it a certain way. And it's LR, and up is the default mapping. So when you plug in a controller to a TurboGrafx 16, it's not going to use the default mapping. It's going to go into a mapping mode that it thinks makes sense. And in most cases, that's going to be the LR and the down. So it's going to automatically do that for you. If you want to go back to the home mapping, just LR and up for 2.5 seconds, and then it'll jump back in. We also have a right and a left that we'll be able to use at some point, should they become advantageous. So there you go. That's kind of how the mapping system's going to work. Suggestions welcome. Thanks for watching.